Hi dear students, hope that all of you are keeping fine and attending the online classes. Previous day we started with a new lesson, that is a horse and two gods, and we saw the introduction part, both the theme, the setting and the critical appreciation last day, and we already finished the first page, and now we will discuss the rest of the story in this class, the second part of the story. You may please take page number 53. And yesterday we discussed about the setting of the story, that means the place, Kridam. It was a poor village, and the central character, that is Muni, he is from a poor background. The financial background of Muni is very poor, and we discussed about the financial condition of Muni in the past. He was having a prosperous life before few years back, but now everything gone. Now nothing left, only two gods left for him. From 40 flock, now he has got only two gods. And we also discussed that on one fine day, Muni got 6 drumsticks from his drumstick tree, and now we will see what all are the things that happen later. You may please take page number 53, paragraph 2. His wife said, "If you were content with the drumstick leaves alone, I could boil and salt some for you." So here the wife of Muni says to her husband that if you are happy, content means happy, if you are happy with the drumsticks leaves, then I could cook something for you. And in answer to that one, Muni says, "Oh, I am tired of eating those leaves. I have a craving to chew the drumstick out of sauce, I tell you." And in an answer, Muni says that he is tired of eating drumstick leaves. Now he has got a desire. Craving means a desire to eat the drumstick. Okay, so that is the response of Muni. And here Muni's wife respond, "You have only 4 teeth in your jaw, but your craving is for big things." So you have got limited things only, but you have got the desire for something greater. You have got only 4 teeth in your jaw, but your desire is something very big. Alright, get the stuff for the sauce and I will prepare it for you. Don't worry, anyway, you just get the stuff for preparing the drumstick, then I will cook for you the materials. Okay, get the stuff for preparing the drumstick, then she could cook for Muni. After all, next year you may not be alive to ask for anything. Why she is saying that she is ready to cook something for Muni? Because she is not sure that Muni will be there in the next year. He will be alive in the next year. That is why she is saying that I am ready to cook, but you may get the stuff for cooking. That means the materials, the ingredients for cooking. But first get me all the stuff, including a measure of rice or millet, and I will satisfy your unholy craving. So she is saying that get the stuff, especially the millet or rice, then she is ready to satisfy the unholy craving. Unholy means the wicked craving for the drumstick soup, and she is ready to satisfy the craving of Muni. Our store is empty today. Dal, chili, curry leaves, mustard, coriander, gingerly oil, and 1 large potato. So what all are the things required for cooking this drumstick or making a drumstick soup? What all are the things required? It is dal, chili, curry leaves, mustard, coriander, gingerly oil, and 1 large potato. But the condition of Muni's store, it is very pathetic, nothing left at home. And because of that, his wife says to Muni that go out and get all this. Now you just go out and go to the shop and get these stuff. He repeated this list after her in order not to miss any item, and walked off to the shop in the 3rd street. So he continuously repeated the list. Why? Otherwise he may forget the list given by the wife. And Muni sat patiently on an upturned packing case below the platform of the shop. And he was sitting there on an upturned packing case box, and the shopman paid no attention to him. He was sitting, but the shopman, he was not paying any attention to Muni. But Muni, in order to get the attention of the shop owner, what he was doing, Muni kept clearing his throat, coughing and sneezing until the shopman could not stand it anymore and demanded, "What ails you? You will fly off that seat into a gutter if you sneeze so hard, young man." So the Muni, he was trying to get the attention of the shop owner. For that reason only he was coughing, sneezing and doing all the things, and finally he succeeded. And the shop owner observed that Muni was sitting there by getting the sound of sneezing and coughing, and after that the shop owner demanded to Muni that, "What ails you? What is the problem? What troubles you? And you will fly off." Flying off means you will make this seat to fly into the gutter if you are sneezing like that. If you are sneezing in this way, the seat will fly away from there. So finally, the shop owner paid attention to Muni after Muni making all the sneezing and coughing sounds. There, the shop owner says, "What is the trouble? What is the problem with you? And if you are doing such a kind of sneezing, the seat will be fly away to the nearby gutter." Gutter means the channels or for the drainage in a way. The drainages or the waste routes, the waste channels. Muni laughed inordinately. Inordinately means in unusual manner, in order to please the shopman at being called young man. This completely won the shopman over. He liked his sense of humor to be appreciated. Muni, in an unusual manner, he laughed at the joke by the shop owner. What is the reason? By pleasing the shop owner, Muni could get some kind of benefits, and here Muni won in pleasing the shop owner. And when Muni appreciated the sense of humor by the shop owner was very happy. And in the next paragraph, by thus humoring the shopman, Muni could always ask for 1 or 2 items of food, promising repayment later. So that is the reason why Muni, without making any rejection, he just laughed in an unusual manner the joke that was commented by the shop owner, because he used to get something, 1 or 2 items from the shop owner whenever he laughed at the jokes commented by the shop owner by guaranteeing repaying later. Some days the shopman was in a good mood and gave in, and sometimes he would lose his temper suddenly and bark at Muni for daring to ask for a credit. So he used to do these things. Muni used to do these things. What things? He used to laugh at the jokes commented by the shop owner, and in that way he used to get some items, 1 or 2 items, by promising repaying later. And again, Muni feels that Muni used to get the things whenever the shop owner was in a good mood, and otherwise if the mood was not in good, then he used to bark at Muni for asking such a kind of credit. The shopman said, "If you could find 5 rupees and a quarter, you will have paid off an ancient debt. How much have you got now?" So here the shop owner saying that you first pay the ancient debt. Already Muni is debtor to this shop owner, and the shop owner says that first pay that one, and how much left right now. So in an answer to that one, Muni says, "I will pay you everything on the first of the next month, as always, and whom do you expect to rob by then?" But here Muni says that, "Anyway, I don't have right now the money, but I will give the money on the first of the next month." Here the shop owner gives the answer that, "And how do you manage to get such a kind of money? And you always do the same thing. You always say the excuses every time. And how do you manage to get the money next time? Are you going to rob someone in order to get the money?" Muni felt caught and mumbled, "My daughter has sent word that she will be sending me money." So here Muni says that I'm not going to rob anyone, but my daughter is going to send money so I can pay your debt. Have you a daughter? Sneered the shopman. And she is sending you money. For what purpose? May I know? Sneered means mocking at or mocking smile. Here the shop owner is asking to Muni whether Muni has got a daughter, and if Muni has got a daughter, what is the purpose of sending money to Muni? Birthday, 50th birthday, said Muni quietly. Birthday, how old are you? So Muni says, it is my birthday, and as a birthday gift, my daughter sends the money, and it is my 50th birthday. So here the shopman asks, how old are you? Muni repeated weakly, not being sure of it himself. 50. He always calculated his age from the time of the great famine when he stood as high as the parapet around the village wall. But who could calculate such things accurately nowadays with so many famines occurring? So here the shop owner asking about the age of Muni, then Muni is saying his age, 50. And how did he calculate his age? By connecting with the famine that occurred before 50 years. And finally he says that it is not possible to calculate the age by connecting with the famines. Why? Because nowadays the famines are very common. And the shopman felt encouraged when other customers stood around to watch and to comment. So other customers also watching this incident, what was going on there, and the shop owner felt encouraged and he was very happy in mocking at this poor fellow called Muni. And he continued his mocking. More likely you are 70. Shop owner says to Muni that you are looking like 70-year-old man. You also forget that you mentioned a birthday 5 weeks ago when you wanted a custard oil for your holy bath. Last week, the same thing Muni did. By saying birthday, he got custard oil. Now he is the shop owner recollecting that one, and he is saying, last week you already celebrated your 70th birthday, and that time you collected custard oil for your holy bath. In a way, mocking at Muni. So here, this shop owner, he is ridiculing Muni or mocking at Muni. Then, at this Muni unobtrusively rose and moved off. At this Muni unobtrusively means without any kind of attention. He did not pay attention to such a kind of comments by the shop owner. He just rose and moved off. He just went from the place without collecting, without buying anything in order to cook the drumstick. So this part of the story is taking place in a shop. There, Muni went in order to purchase something in order to cook. But he did not get the things from there. Instead of that, the shop owner mocked at Muni, and somehow Muni managed to leave the place. And he later told his wife that scoundrel would not give me anything, so go out and sell the drumsticks for what they are worth. And now Muni is back to home, and he told to his wife that scoundrel here means the shop owner, he is not going to give anything on credit. So it is better you just go out and sell the drumstick, we got money. I don't want the drumstick, so you just go and sell the drumstick and get the money. He flung himself down in a corner to recoup from the fatigue of his visit to the shop. He flung, that means he pushed or threw himself down in a corner to the recoup. Recoup means regain. In order to regain from the fatigue, that means fatigue means tiredness of his visit to the shop. So in order to get relaxed, he is just trying to take a rest there. His wife said, you are getting no sauce today, nor anything else. So since Muni couldn't get anything from the shop, Muni's wife is saying that you are not going to get anything. You are not going to get sauce, and at the same time you are not going to get anything, and you can fast for the whole day. I can't find anything to give you to eat. Fast till the evening. I will do you good. It will do you good. It is better you take a fasting, because there is nothing left at home. Till evening you take fast, and it will do some kind of good to your health. And what he is supposed to do right now, according to the wife, take the goats and be gone now. Now you take the goats, 2 goats are there, take them and be gone from the place, and just take them to feed. She cried and added, don't come back before the sun is down. That is the command. You take the goats and leave the place, and don't come back before the sunset. He knew that if he obeyed her, she would somehow conjure up some food for him in the evening. Only he must be careful not to argue and irritate her. Conjure up means by doing some kind of magic. Somehow she will manage to get food, and Muni knows about the thing. He thought that the wife, she will somehow manage to get the food, and for that it is better Muni should keep silent. Okay, it is better Muni should keep quiet, and it is better not to argue with the wife and irritate her. Her temper was undependable in the morning, but improved by evening time. Always in the morning, the temper of his wife is undependable, and it is something uncontrollable, and it is better not to argue with his wife in the morning. But in the evening there is a change. It is improved in the evening. She was sure to go out and work, grind corn in the big house, sweep or scrub somewhere, and earn enough to buy foodstuff and keep a dinner ready for him in the evening. So she used to do some kind of works in the big house. We already seen the big house there in the village. She used to go there and grind the grain or doing some other work. Somehow she used to get some money to find food stuff, and she used to make the dinner in the evening. Unleashing the goats from the drumstick tree, Muni started out, driving them ahead and uttering weird cries from time to time in order to urge them on. Unleashing means releasing the goats from the drumsticks, and he left the place in order to feed the animals, and he used some kind of sounds in order to urge them, in order to make them to move forward. He passed through the village with his head bowed in thought. He did not want to look at anyone or be accosted. So he was just passing the village, and he was not paying attention to anyone those who were sitting there, and he did not want to look at anyone or be accosted or to be addressed by someone. He did not want to look at anyone. At the same time, he didn't want to be addressed by anyone. A couple of cronies launching in the temple corridor hailed him, but he ignored their call. That means cronies means the companies, the friends. Some of the friends, those who were sitting there on the launch, or launching means sitting there in the temple, they called Muni, but he just ignored the call of all his companies or the friends. So he was just passing the village, and he didn't want to look at anyone, and he didn't want to be addressed by anyone. And he found some of his friends or companies. They were sitting on in the temple corridor, and they called Muni, but Muni ignored the calls of his friends. The next paragraph, Muni is thinking about himself. The shopman had said that he was 70. At 70, one only waited to be summoned by God. So he was just thinking about the age of his, and he thought what an old person can do at the age of 70. The 70-year-old person can only wait for the summon. Summon means called by God. That means death. Okay. So the shopman said that when he is a 70-year-old man, and for the old man there is nothing left to do, and only the thing that he can do that wait for the call of God. That means wait for the death. Then he is just thinking, when he was dead, what would his wife do? What is the life? What would his wife do after the death of Muni? They had lived in each other's company since they were children. From the childhood onwards they were together, and he had been told on their day of wedding that he was 10-year old and she was 8. The age at the time of marriage, Muni was 10 years old and the wife, she was 8. Progeny means the children. None. No, they don't have any children. So earlier Muni said that the daughter will send the money. Actually he lied there in order to get something, in order to prepare the drumstick. But here actually they don't have children, and in a way he is thinking that perhaps a large progeny would have brought him the blessings of the gods. If he had enough children, then it could bring some kind of blessings from the God. So he was thinking about himself at the age of 70, what a person can do. Only wait for the call of God. And he just thought what his wife will do after the death of Muni. Then he just thought of the marriage. When they married, he was of 10 years of age and she was of 8 years of age, and both of them are not having any children. Next paragraph. Only on the outskirts did he lift his head and look up. Earlier we had seen that Muni was not paying attention to anyone there, and once he left the village and once he reached the outskirts of the city, that means the outer part of the city, then he lifted his head up. And then what did he do? He urged and bullied the gods until they meandered. Meandered means proceed along to the foot of the horse statue on the edge of the village. So he was just trying to urge and bullying the gods to reach near to the horse statue. Meandered, that means proceed. He made these gods to move near to the horse statue. And he sat on its pedestal for the rest of the day. He just took a rest there and he just sat on the pedestal, that means base of the statue of the horse. The advantage of this was that he could watch the highway and see the lorries and buses passes through to the hills, and it gave him a sense of belonging to a larger world. He used to take the animals near to the statue and he used to take the rest for the whole day, the rest of the day. And what he used to do there, he just used to watch the lorries and the other vehicles that were passing on the highways. And in a way it gave him a kind of happiness and it gave him a sense of belonging to a larger world. That means he is out of his village and he belongs to the great world outside. The pedestal of the statue was broad enough for him to move around as the sun traveled up and westward. So he could move from side to side whenever the sun is there, the heat is there. Somehow he could manage because the pedestal, the base of this statue was something very big. And he could also crouch under the belly of the horse for shade. Crouch means to sit. He could sit under the belly in order to get the shade. So here from this paragraph we can understand that once he left the village or the outskirt area, then he used to lift his head up and he urged and bullied the animals to go near to the horse, the statue of horse, and there he used to take the rest for the rest of the day. And what he used to do from there, he used to just observe the vehicles that were passing on the highways, and it gave a sense of belongingness to the rest of the world or the greater world outside. And the pedestal of this statue was something very big and he could move here and there and take a proper rest, and he used to sit under the belly of the horse, the statue of horse, and he could just relax there under the belly of the horse for shade. The next paragraph speaks about the features of the horse statue. The horse was nearly life size. That means the size of the horse, it was almost just like the size of a real horse, and molded out of clay, made out of clay, burnt, baked and brightly colored, and reared its head proudly. Reared means looking backside. The head, it was looking backside and prancing its forelegs. That means both the forelegs, they are raised. If you have seen the statues of horse, you might have understood. Here in Sangli, the Shivaji statue is there. Shivaji is sitting on the horse. There, the horse is standing with the forelegs in a raised manner. Prancing means move with the high spring steps. The forelegs are raised. Then, and flourishing its tail in a loop. That means, flourishing means very good colored, and it is in the wind, it is moving just in a, that way it is, the statue is made. And loop means in a curved manner. That there is a bend. The shape of the tail of this particular statue, it is a bending one. Beside the horse stood a warrior with a side-like mustache, bulging eyes, and aquiline nose. So not only the horse statue is there, near to the horse statue there was a statue of a warrior. You understood the features of the horse, how it was looking. It was a real size, made with clay, bent and brightly colored, and looking backside. The head was looking backside, and the forelegs, it was in rising position, and it was, okay, the tail was something very beautiful and bending. And near to the horse there was a warrior with a side line. Side means it is a, just like a tool, just like a weapon, just like a cutting weapon. His mustache were looking like a cutting weapon or a tool. Bulging eyes, that means the swollen eyes, and aquiline, that means eagle-like nose. That is the features of the warrior who is standing near to the horse. The horse itself was said to have been a white as a dhobi washed sheet, and had on its back a cover of pure brocade of red and black lace, matching the multicolored sash around the waist of the warrior. So the color of the horse you got, it is white as dhobi washed sheet, pure white. The horse, the statue of the horse, it is pure white, and there is on back cover of a pure brocade of red and black lace. That means brocade means a rich clothing. There was a, on the back, in its back there is a rich clothing was there, and it was matching with the sash around the waist of the warrior. That is the features of the warrior and the horse. And now, but none in the village remember the splendor, as no one noticed its existence. The splendor means the magnificent, the magnificent beauty. The very statue and the statue of the horse and the warrior is very beautiful and very impressive, but no one noticed about the beauty and the impressive look of this particular statue, and no one worried about the very existence of the statue also. Even Muni, who spent all his waking hours at its foot, never bothered to look up. No one was ready to bother about this particular statue and to understand the beauty of this statue. And even the Muni, he used to take rest there, and during the waking hours he was there under this statue, and he also never tried to look up and enjoy the beauty of this statue. Then it was untouched even by the young vantals of the village, who gashed tree trunks with knives and tried to topple off milestones and inscribed lewd designs. At all, no one was bothered about this particular statue. Even Muni was not ready to look up. And again, author says that even the vandals means the antisocial people, the people who behaves in an antisocial way and who destroys the public properties of the village, who gashed trees. The vandals, they used to cut down the trees. Gashed means to cut down the trees with knives and tried to topple off milestones. That means fall off the top of milestones or take away the milestones. And inscribe, that means write something lewd, rude design on the walls. These vandals used to do cutting the trees or taking the milestones away, writing something on the walls, rude language on the walls, and even they also did not pay attention towards this statue. In a way, it was just left alone in the particular area. The village people, they were not bothered about this particular statue, and Muni, even though he is sitting under the statue, he did not pay attention, and the vandals, they also did not pay any attention to the magnificent or the beauty of this statue. This statue had been closer to the population of the village at one time when this spot bordered the village. It was very closer. Now it is not. It was very closer, and now people left this statue and they are not bothered about the particular statue. Muni sat at the foot of the statue watching his two gods graze in the arid soil among the cactus and the lantana bushes. He was just watching the gods there, and it was grazing. The gods were grazing in the arid soil. Arid soil means very dry soil among the cactus. It is a particular bush, and lantana bushes. It is a tropical bush. The gods were grazing among the plants, and Muni was watching that one from by sitting at the foot of the statue. He looked at the sun. It had tilted westward, no doubt, but it was not the time yet to go back home. If he went too early, his wife would have no food for him. So he looked the sun in order to know the time. Then he understood that the sun already moved to westward. Tilted means to move. The sun already moved. But he again understood that it is not the time to go back to the home, and if he go earlier, then wife won't give any food to Muni. So he just sat there. Also, he must give her time to cool off her temper and feel sympathetic, and then she would scrounge and manage to get food. Scrounge means to seek to get something through by asking to others or begging to others. So here Muni, he understood that time is already passing, the sun is moved to the westward, but he realized that it is not time to go back to the home, and if he goes early, then wife won't give anything for eating. And again he thought that it is better to give some time to cool down the temper of his wife, and by that time she may arrange some kind of food from others by asking them. Next paragraph. He noticed now a new sort of vehicle coming down at full speed. It looked like both a motor car and a bus. When he noticed that one vehicle is approaching, and he used to be intrigued. Intrigued means attracted by the novelty. Novelty means new vehicles, such as spectacles. But of late work was going on at the source of the river on the mountain, and an assortment of people and traffic went past him. So he used to be attracted by the new vehicles or the new spectacles, that means new objects. But nowadays some work was going at the source of the river, and many people are working there, and many vehicles are moving there. An assortment of people means various types of people are moving there after doing their work at the source of the river. And whenever he went back to home, he used to tell what all are the things he saw there at near to the statue or near to the highway. So here Muni found that one vehicle is approaching, and he was very much attracted with such a kind of new vehicles. But nowadays some works were going at the source of the river, and he gets some kind of views of people, various people, and the trucks that are moving towards the source of the river. And such a kind of experience he used to share with his wife at the evening. While he observed the yellow vehicle coming down, he was wondering how to describe it later to his wife when it is sputtered and stopped in front of him. So the color of the vehicle that was approaching, it was yellow in color, and Muni was wondering how to explain the details about the vehicle later to his wife. And when it is sputtered means making a series of noise at the time of stopping the engine, and stopped in front of him. A red-faced foreigner who had been driving it got down and went round it stooping, looking and poking under the vehicle. That means from this you might have understood something had happened to the vehicle. And the second main character that is introduced here, that is the American, the foreigner. The vehicle already stopped and something had happened to the vehicle. So this person came out of the vehicle and he just went around it stooping. That means went down, looking and poking, looking on particular direction. What had happened to the vehicle he wanted to know. Then he straightened himself, looked at the dashboard, stared in Muni's direction and approached him. So he found that something happened to the vehicle, and in order to get an opinion from someone, he just looked around and he found that Muni was sitting there, and he just walked towards Muni and he asked Muni, "Excuse me, is there a gas station nearby, or do I have to wait until another car comes?" So you understood what had happened to this car. The gas is over and he wanted to fill that one. So he asked Muni whether there is a gas station nearby or he has to wait for another car to come. He suddenly looked up the clay horse and cried, "Marvelous!" without completing his sentence. Muni felt he should get up and run away and cursed his age. He could not readily put his limbs into action. So he asked, the foreigner asked Muni that about the gas station. Then suddenly he noticed that there is a marvelous work, the work of a statue. That means here there is a good statue of a horse. And after seeing that one, the foreigner, he was totally amazed and he is saying that a marvelous piece of work. But Muni did not understand anything. That is why he thought that something is going to happen and he was about to run away from the situation. But he cursed his age. Why? Because he is already 50 or 70 years of age and he is not able to move very fast. That is why he is cursing his age and he can run in a fast manner. So the foreigner came and he came in search of a gas station and he asked Muni, and that time he found a statue of horse and he told it is a something marvelous piece. But Muni didn't understand anything. You know the reason, because Muni knows only Tamil and this foreigner is speaking in English, and Muni wanted to run away from the situation but he was not able to do so because of his age. Muni just observed this foreigner and he understood that the red-faced man wore khaki clothes, evidently a policeman or a soldier. So the dressing of this foreigner, it was khaki dress. By seeing that one, Muni thought that this person is a policeman or a soldier. Muni said to himself, he will chase or shoot if I start running. If he is running from the situation, running away from the situation, this person may shoot Muni. Why? Because Muni thought that the person who came is a soldier or a policeman. Actually, he is not a policeman or a soldier, but by seeing the khaki dressing, he thought it is a policeman. Some dogs chase only those who run. Oh, Shiva protects me. So he concluded that it is better not to run away from the situation. If he runs, then this person may shoot. And he says that some kind of dogs, they will only attack people those who run away. So it is better to keep quiet. Then I don't know why this man should be after me. He is totally confused. Why this person is here to meet me? Meet Muni. Muni is totally confused. Meanwhile, the foreigner said, "Marvelous," again, nodding his head. So while Muni was thinking about all these things, the foreigner again said, "It is a marvelous piece." And he paced around the statue with his eyes fixed on it. He paced means he walked around the statue by looking this statue, this marvelous work. And Muni sat frozen for a while and then fidgeted and tried to edge away. That means fidgeted means make a slight movement and try to edge away. That means to move away. While the foreigner was making an observation of the horse, Muni just trying to escape from the situation, trying to run away from the situation. Now the other man suddenly pressed his palms together, smiled and said, Namaste, how do you do? Muni was just trying to get away or run away from the situation, but he was not able to do. Why? Because this foreigner, he just caught the hand and asked, how do you do? So he is just addressing this person. Next paragraph. At which Muni spoke the only English expressions he had learned, yes, no. Having exhausted his English vocabulary, he started in Tamil. My name is Muni. These two gods are mine and no one can gainsay. Though our village is full of slanderers these days, who will not hesitate to say that what belongs to a man doesn't belong to him. So earlier passage we noticed that the American or the foreigner is addressing Muni. So in response to that one, Muni uses expressions like yes or no. And these two expressions are the two English words that Muni knows. No other English words he knows. And he only knows two English words, that yes or no. In response to the English word that is used by the foreigner, Muni uses the English word that he learned so far, that is yes or no. So the English speaking person asked, how do you do? Muni answered, yes, no. Then after that, having exhausted, that means all the vocabulary is over, then he started in Tamil. He understood that he is not able to continue in English, so he continued in Tamil language and he introduced himself. He said his name is Muni and he said these two gods are mine. And it is not anyone else, it is my gods and no one can gainsay. Gainsay means no one can deny it, these gods are mine. And in my village there are so many slanderers. Slanderers means the false speaking. Okay, some rumors are there, but here these gods are mine and who will not hesitate to say that what belongs to a man doesn't belong to him. So normally the people, whatever belongs to him, normally that people will say that belongs to him. So here Muni says that the gods are his and no one can gainsay or no one can deny that one. Then the foreigner faithfully looked in the direction indicated by Muni's fingers. So here Muni said to the foreigner, by pointing towards the gods, that gods are mine, two gods are mine and it is no one else. It is my gods, and he just pointed his fingers towards the gods. So then the English speaking or the foreigner also looked towards the direction in which Muni indicated his fingers and gazed for a while at the two gods and the rods, and with a puzzled expression took out his silver cigarette case and lit a cigarette. So here the foreigner, he looked towards the location or the direction that Muni indicated. There he found the gods, and actually he did not understood anything much. With a puzzled expression, in a confused expression, he took his cigarette case and lit a cigarette. Suddenly remembering courtesies of the season. Courtesies of the season means suddenly remembering about the mannerism, the manners, he asked. So he already took the cigarette. So then this foreigner, he thought of the formality or the manners. So he just asked, do you want a cigarette or do you smoke? Then Muni answered, he only knows two words, that is yes or no. So he said yes, no. Then whereupon means immediately after hearing from Muni, the English speaking person or the foreigner, red-faced man, took a cigarette and gave it to Muni, who received it with a surprise, having had no offer of a smoke from anyone for years now. He used to smoke, but because of his poor condition, he was not able to smoke, and no one offered him a smoke for a long time, a cigarette for a long time. Now he is very happy because at least someone is ready to give a cigarette. So the red-faced man or the foreigner gave a cigarette to Muni, and he received it with a great surprise. The next paragraph in page number 58. He had always wanted to smoke a cigarette. Only once did the shopman give him one on credit. and he remembered how good it had tasted. So his experience with the smoking and his craving towards smoking cigarette, and he had always wanted to smoke. That means he had a craving for smoking cigarette, and he had got only one experience. He had the experience of smoking when the shop owner gave a cigarette on credit, and still now he remembers the taste of cigarette was something very good. The other means here the foreigner. The other flicked the lighter. Flicked means strike with the fingers. The lamp, the lighter, striking with the fingers, opened and offered a light to Muni. So the foreigner already lit the cigarette. Now he wanted to lit the cigarette of Muni, so he just offered the lighter to Muni. But here, after receiving, Muni was so confused because he was not knowing how to operate the lighter. The Muni felt so confused about how to blow on this particular lighter or how to put out this particular lighter. Muni was not knowing, and the other, again the foreigner was so confused. He was puzzled but undaunted. Undaunted means he was not discouraged. Again he offered the lamp or lighter to Muni and flourished. That means the light was there and lit the cigarette of Muni. After that, what happened? Muni drew a deep puff and started coughing. He just smoked the cigarette. Once he started smoking, the coughing also started. It was racking. Racking means causing pain. The experience of smoking, it caused pain. But Muni thought that it is something very pleasant. It caused some kind of pain, but at the same time, Muni felt that it is a pleasant experience, the smoking experience. When his cough subsided means it got over and it became very less, he wiped his eyes and took stock of the situation. He just realized about the situation, what is the condition of the situation, understanding that other man was not an inquisitor of any kind. That means the person who is come to inquire about something. Inquisitor means a person who comes to inquire. So here the foreigner offered a cigarette to Muni and he was not able to lit the cigarette. So here the foreigner again helped Muni to lit the cigarette. And after that Muni took a puff and it was a pleasant experience even though it caused some pain. After this Muni understood that the foreigner is not an inquisitor or a person who came to inquire about something. And yet, in order to make sure, he remained wary. Wary means taking some kind of precautions. He doesn't know what is this person is, this foreigner is, and he took a precaution or very cautious about possible dangers and threats. That is the meaning of wary. He was just aware about the possible threats and dangers, so he just took a gap. So, in order to make sure he remained wary, no need to run away from a man who gave him such a potent smoke. He thought that the person, he just gave a potent smoke. Potent means an effective smoke. So there is no need of run away from such a kind of person who gave him a good smoke. His head was reeling from the effect of one of those strong American cigarettes made with the roasted tobacco. Reeling means losing balance. He lost the balance after taking a puff from the American cigarette and he lost the balance. His head was reeling from the effect of one. That means losing the balance. And the man said, I came from New York, took out a wallet from his hip pocket and presented his card. So now I hope that you got an idea about the craving of Muni towards the cigarette. He got the cigarette from the foreigner and he made a puff and he felt that it was something very pleasant. And again Muni thought that this person is not any kind of inquisitor and this person is not going to do any harm. But he took some kind of precautions by expecting a possible threat from this person. And Muni was sure that this person is not a dangerous person because he offered a cigarette and his balance he lost because of after taking the puff of American cigarette. Then after that, this person, the foreigner, introduced himself and said that he is from New York and he offered his wallet, not the wallet, his card, okay, the visiting card in order to introduce himself. The last paragraph we have seen that the foreigner offered his card or the visiting card. Then what was the response from Muni? Muni ran away from the car. That means move away, to draw back from the car. When the foreigner offered the car, he just moved away from the car. Perhaps he was trying to present a warrant and arrest him. What is the reason for Muni's response? Drawing back from the car, because he thought that the foreigner was trying to present a arrest warrant. Beware of Kaki, one part of his mind warned. So he still believed that the person is a policeman and he was trying to arrest him and he offered the arrest warrant. So he thought to his mind, beware of the Kaki. Take all the cigarettes or whatever is offered, but don't get caught. Whatever the foreigner gives, you take, but don't get caught. Beware of Kaki. He wished he were in 70, as the shopman had said. At 70, one didn't run, but surrendered to whatever came. He just wished he could be a younger person, and here he just felt the 70-year-old or an old person can't do anything. Only one thing he can do, just surrender to whatever comes to his life. So he was not able to run from the situation. He could only ward off troubles by talk. He could only ward off. Ward means to prevent. The old person or this Muni, he can only prevent the struggles or the dangers by talking to this foreigner. So he went on talking, all in the chaste Tamil for which Kreedam was famous. The chaste Tamil means very simple language. So he just started his conversation and he went on talking with this foreigner in a simple Tamil. And he said, before God, Sir Bhagavan, who sees everything, I tell you, sir, that we know nothing of the case. If the murder was committed, whoever did it will escape. It will not escape. Bhagavan is all seeing. Don't ask me about it. I know nothing. So here he speaks about a murder. In order to understand that, you should read the next line also. A body had been found mutilated and thrown under a tamarind tree at the border between Kreedam and Kuppam a few weeks before, giving rise to much gossip and speculation. So that is the reason why Muni is saying about that he doesn't know anything about the murder. So Muni thought that this is a policeman. He just came to inquire about the murder that happened before few weeks between the Kreedam and the Kuppam. So he says, he swear in front of God that by Bhagavan, I say, the Bhagavan who sees everything, I tell you, sir, that we know nothing of the case. I do not know anything about the case. I do not know anything about the murder. And the one who committed the murder, he will be punished. The God is seeing everything and the one who committed the murder will surely punished. Don't ask me about it. Don't ask me about the murder because I do not know anything. Because a body had been mutilated. Mutilated means an injured body and thrown under a tamarind tree at the border of, the place name also is mentioned, few weeks before, giving rise of too much gossip and speculation. Speculation means doubts and suspiciousness. So the body was there, a mutilated body, a dead body. So Muni thought that this foreigner is a policeman who came to ask about the murder that took place few weeks before. And Muni is just confirming and clarifying that he is not knowing anything about the murder. And he believes that God is seeing everything and the one who committed the murder, he will be punished sooner. Muni added an explanation. Anything is possible there. People over there will be stopped at nothing. So he is just adding one more thing. The people, those who are living between Kreedam and Kuppam, the people are very notorious and anything is possible there. All kind of violence are possible there and they won't stop at nothing. They always do such a kind of criminal activities. The foreigner nodded his head and listened courteously, though he understood nothing. So with a polite manner he listened to whatever Muni said, but he actually did not understand anything. Why? Because Muni was speaking in Tamil and this person, he doesn't know, the foreigner, he doesn't know Tamil. I am sure you know when this horse was made, said the red man and smiled ingratiatingly. Ingratiatingly means with all favor. So this person, this foreigner, Muni was saying about something. That means he was saying about the things that had happened few weeks about the murder, thinking that this foreigner is a policeman. He was explaining all such kind of things. But here, this foreigner, he is just asking about the horse, the statue. So you can understand the clash between the languages. One is speaking Tamil and other person is speaking English, and mutually they can't understand each other. They were not able to understand each other. One is speaking about something and the other person is speaking about the other things. That is why the author, in this way, the author brings humor in this story. So he is asking, the foreigner is asking about the horse and about its beauty. And I am sure you know when this horse was made. Okay, about the who made and when the horse was made, the foreigner asked. Then Muni reacted to this relaxed atmosphere by smiling himself. So now he understood that it is not something very serious, and then also he was having just fear about the situation because he still believes that this person is there to know about the murder that took place few weeks before. So Muni reacted to the relaxed atmosphere by smiling himself and pleaded. Then in a begging manner he said, "Please go away, sir. I know nothing. I do not know anything about the case. Don't ask." But actually the foreigner asked about the horse, but Muni didn't understand that. But Muni is saying that, "Please go away, sir. I know nothing about the case. And I promise," what is the promise? "I will hold him for you if we see any bad character around us." So if there is any bad character living around us, then we will hold and we will check the person who committed the murder. And we will bury him up to his neck in a coconut pit if he tries to escape. So if we get the culprit or the criminal, then we will bury the person into a coconut pit till to his neck, and if he tries to escape from the place. But our village has always had a clean record. Must definitely be the other village. So he is saying that it is not, the person is not from the village called Kridam. It may be from the village, other village, maybe from Kuppam or some other villages. Our village has got a clean record, and if we get the criminal or the culprit, then we won't allow him to escape from the situation. Now the red man implored, asked, "Please, please, I will speak slowly. Please try to understand me. Can't you understand even a single word of English? Everyone in this country seems to know English. I have gotten along with English everywhere in this country, but you don't speak it. Have you any religious or spiritual scruples against English speech?" So here the English speaking person, he also is not able to understand the things that is spoken by Muni. So he is asking Muni, "So I am ready to speak very slowly. Can you understand English? Please, I will speak very slowly. Please try to understand me." Because this foreigner is asking about this horse, but Muni is saying about something which this foreigner can't understand. Can't you understand even? He is just asking Muni that whether he is able to understand some words, but later he concluded that Muni is not able to understand anything. And from his experience he says that in India many speak English, and somehow he managed to travel with his English language everywhere in India because people, they knew how to speak English. And now he is asking whether do you have any religious taboos? Scrupulous means any hesitation, some kind of restrictions. Any religious restrictions are there for speaking English language. And in the next paragraph we can find that there is an effort from the foreigner to speak very slowly to Muni. Muni made some indistinct sounds in his throat and shook his head. Indistinct means not clear. The Muni also didn't understand what this person is talking, so he made some kind of sound. Then, encouraged, the other went on explaining at length, uttering each syllables with care and deliberation. That means this person, the foreigner, is in very simple English and in a very slow manner. Why? Because he wanted to make Muni to understand what the foreigner speaks. And presently he sidled over and took a seat beside the old man. Sidled over means walking very near to this Muni or the person and took a seat beside the old man, explaining, you see. So from here onwards he says about his life there in New York. One of his experiences he shares with the Muni. He is just trying to speak in simple English. You see, last August we probably had the hottest summer in history, and I was working in a shirt sleeves in my office, the 40th floor of the Empire State Building. We had a power failure on one day, and then I was stuck for 4 hours. No elevator, no air conditioning. So that was the experience of the foreigner. He just shared his experience that happened in the month of August, and it was a summer season. And one time while he was sitting there in the office, there was a power failure, the hottest time, and the power failure, no air conditioning. So he felt it was something very horrible. And all the way in the train I kept thinking, and the minute I reached home in Connecticut, I told my wife Ruth, we will visit India this winter. So that is the reason why this foreigner visited India. Why? What happened? He was just one time in the month of August in a summer season. He was sitting there in the office. Then there was a power failure and too much hot inside, no air conditioning, and he felt something very horrible. So while he returned to his home, he thought of visiting some other places. So he just went there at home and told his wife that next winter they will visit India. And what is the purpose of this visit? They just wanted to know the other civilization, how other civilizations manage their everyday life. For in order to get the experience, he thought of traveling to different parts of the world. Next day, she called the travel agent first thing and told him to fix it. And so here I am. That is the reason he is now at India, because one time one experience was there. After the experience, he shared with his wife that it is better to visit India during the winter season. So they fixed that one. So finally, the foreigner came to India. And his wife, Ruth, came with me, but he is staying back at Srinagar. So his wife is staying at Srinagar, and I am the one doing the rounds and joining her later. Now I am traveling everywhere and understanding the situations here in India, and I will join with her later. So that is enough for today. Now you may please go through the story and try to understand and study the new vocabularies, and we will see the rest of the story the next day. Thank you. Have a nice day.